what would you still like to see from the team prior to the start of the playoffs? Because unlike some seasons past, you got 19 games to go, and you feel very comfortable in terms of making the playoffs. Now, I know with the tight nature of the Central, you're still worried that some sort of prolonged fall could put you in a wild card spot. I choose to believe that will not happen, especially since Colorado is trying to come up in the world and you slap them back down. But for a team that's got the second most points in the Western Conference, you're feeling good, but could still feel better. What are the things you still need to see from this Stars team?
I will tell you this. If you're not watching the Twitch fan cam on Twitch, seeing Joey, like how excited he gets about hockey is really a joy. A lot of people say we don't talk enough hockey, and hey man, I'm for it. Joey loves hockey. He moved up to Minnesota to go to college at one of the Frozen Four. All right, like that's what he wanted to do. That's all he wanted to do.
St. Cloud State consistently been in the Frozen Four?
They've been in it 2 of the last 10 years. About
Do you have a shirt with them on it?
I have a sweatshirt, that I wear quite a bit.
In your face, Kevin.
Okay.
The only reason he went up there was to be around more hockey.
I get it.
Like when you hear Joey talk about hockey, it's because he knows hockey. Here's the one thing, and this is very general. This is not a very specific thing. I don't want to see them back into the playoffs. That's something that I don't ever really love, because you're going, man, you just got in based on what you did early in the season. What are you right now? And I think I always use this line, Kevin. I stole it from Sports Night, one of my favorite shows ever. It is, where are we and where are we going?
Sure.
And that can only start right now. And that is, you can talk about all the things that got you there, but I'll steal another line from Black Adam, the movie that I watched on the airplane, Kevin.
Not good.
It's moved on already.
Yeah.
And whatever happened that you've already done, that's moved on. It's moved on from you. It's moved on from everything. So where are you now and where are you going? And that's where on today, you have, 12 days? You're on the road for 12 days.
Bring it on.
And what are you going to do about it? Are you going to go into it and say, man, it was just a long road stand and we couldn't handle it? Or are you going to say, man, we dominated the road stand. Can't wait for the playoffs. So I want to see them. I want to see them go into the playoffs firing.
So what I just heard is they better get the 2 points tonight because you have no confidence in them on the road.
No.
You just heard that, right?
I didn't say
Joey?
no confidence.
I did.
I'm just saying that's a long road run.
Okay. Now here's my question, because
Like
it comes
Wile E.
up,
Coyote.
and we see this all the time. Sometimes I do not feel like hockey fans are the most inclusive in terms of you're late to the party. It was like me when I watched Arrested Development. Everyone's like, oh, always watch. I was like, no, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
Nobody watched that show. That's why I got canceled.
Me and Kevin. That's
Is some people saying from the 469, thank you for talking about the Stars. Can't wait to see all these bandwagon people say they've always been a Stars fan.
Now's the time.
I hope that you will welcome them. Yeah, we did this years ago, all right? Because, Joey, sometimes it can be tough to get people in on hockey. Now's the time. The Stars are leading their division. They have the second most points in the West. They have badass players across the board. I know that our MVP candidacy for Robertson has lost some steam, and our Vezina candidacy for Ottinger, it's not at the top of the list, but they're still excellent players. You only got to invest 19 games in the regular season, and then you can act like you knew all along what was going on. You could start talking about the trade for Domi. Like, you can act like you've been there all along, but even if you haven't, I hope hockey fans accept you nonetheless, even if you are late. Like, don't shun them when they don't understand the icing call. Like, you can just explain it to them.
Icing's boring anyways.
Yeah, you don't have to tell them they're a piece of trash.
Get rid of icing.
Yeah. So this...
Somebody said, I want to hear Corey use more Black Adam quotes.
I made it about halfway through the movie, and I was like, I just don't care.
I was on an airplane, bro. What else was I going to do?
It's true. You didn't have your parachute.
I thought it was fun, though.
You know what?
It was fun.
Actually, you make a great point, because on our trip before that, I think, I watched Moonfall. I didn't feel great about it. But like, the moon went out of rotation because it turns out that there were like, I can't remember if it was the aliens or robots or alien robots.
With Halle Berry?
Yes.
All right,
Halle Berry had to get the moon back in place. I didn't feel great about it, but you're right. I had nowhere else to go. And I was like, I'm watching this movie. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. But if you have 2 hours where you can't leave where you're at, It's not bad.
From the
As long as
972.
you have something else to do too during it.
Those types of fans I don't like. Just admit you're a new fan, and that's fine too. Yeah, for the
Okay.
new fans that are hopping in, tell the vet Stars fan, hey, I kind of need some help on this. You mind? Most likely they're going to be like, you know what? Thank you. Don't act like you've just been here wearing your Madonna jersey your whole life.
Yeah, and make sure you call it a sweater. All right. So I'm going to go to cut number 3 right here I think you're going to like this, Corey. While I make it sound like the thrashing of the Avalanche means it's time to start planning the parade. Well, this is a direct rebuttal.
Well, it's good, and again, we're not planning any parades. I mean, it was a really good effort. Now we've got to keep building on it. So, I don't want to undersell the importance of the win because it's an important win, but, that doesn't mean all of a sudden we're the best team in the league because we beat the Stanley Cup champions 7-3 tonight. Like we've got a lot of work left to do. We know they're better than how they played, and, we just got to keep building this for the next 20 games till the playoffs start.
This was also the team debut of Max Domi, the more marquee, fair to say, Joey, of the trades made. I know they made another
bigger name.
Yeah, like a depth trade on Friday, but this feels like the one that
Did you say death trade?
Depth.
Oh, okay.
Trade.
God.
I mean,
I was like, is this a new thing in hockey?
I hope not. But this feels like the bigger deal of somebody that you'll see in terms of like more tangible ice time going forward.
Yeah, he looked really good with Marchment and Seguin in his first game
Which
back.
is what we thought the line would be.
Yeah, which we really needed because those guys have struggled to find a line mate to pair with them. And I think the moves with Dadonov and Domi allow some players like Faksa and Delandria to play a more accustomed role. A little fourth line, maybe more grinding type of game. Faksa moves down to that fourth line center, which is where he's going to thrive. He's not someone you could really pair with Seguin and Marchment because he's not really a playmaker.
Yes.
He doesn't score
Yes.
like other guys. So Domi fits in perfectly. He can defer a little bit, and it worked out on Saturday.
And I don't want to focus this too much on Colorado, because if you think Winnipeg's going to mow everyone down the last few weeks, or if you're like, I like Minnesota, do you think the Stars hold off the challenge, and is Colorado the most viable? I know they're not in second place, even though they got a couple games in hand on everybody else. Do you think Colorado's the most likely to overtake Dallas if the Stars don't win the Central?
I think it would be Minnesota, quite frankly, just because.
And what state did you go to college in again?
I did go up to the great state
college
of hockey.
Shocking.
But just because the Avalanche have struggled to find momentum, Makar came back for the first time. He looked a little off his rails, not quite usually what he is,
Still
just
a
because
stud,
he had a
though.
concussion.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, no debate about that. I just don't think they're going to have a rhythm to finish out the season. They're still going to be in the top 3 of the Central Division. I think with Minnesota, just the way they're playing, they seem to have a lot of confidence. They did get Klingberg into that lineup, so they have a little more offensive from the back end. I just like the way they're playing more recently to finish out the season than Colorado.
And you already know what my answer is. It's been my answer. It's been our answer since the beginning of the season. It remains my answer. I know the Stars have won 3 straight, and I'm like, no, I'm not hating whatsoever. You play 3 games, get 6 points, like huzzah to you. But you look right before that, whether it's Vancouver, Chicago, Minnesota, Boston, the 1-goal games and the shootout in overtime. I need you to take those home. Even though I understand the fundamental difference in the overtime structure and overtime, I get that. It's just the pressure situation that makes me nervous. And as much as I love Ottinger, I am a bit concerned about what has happened in some of these overtimes.
Yeah, and I understand your sentiments, like, show some signs that you can get it done. And I would love to have an answer, too, with 3-on-3 OT. And they've trotted out 3 forwards. They've trotted out 2D and 1 forward. They've done everything. Maybe they just have Andre play forward at this point and see if that gets it done. But they've done everything. But yeah, one goal games have been a struggle, especially past 60 minutes. And that would be something great for them to rewrite the ship a little bit. But one thing I would love to see consistently down the stretch is winning board battles in 50-50 pucks consistently, because that was a huge struggle in that month of February where they weren't winning a lot of board battles. Teams were getting interior on them, which is something that they usually consistently do with the guys they have.
And I don't care who you play in the playoffs. That's going to be a staple of playoff hockey. Some teams more than others, but if you're consistently losing those two aspects, the writing might be on the wall, or your goalie's going to have to be standing on his head the whole time. Like that is going to be problematic.
The 561, I love our Dallas Stars. We need consistency from our veterans. Wouldn't hurt for Ben Seguin to be in their bag. New guys to mesh, and no hating on new hockey fans here. Welcome to the club. And that's all I see.
Oh, okay.
I thought the Joey Knows Hockey was from that one too, but it was not.
I wonder if Seguin being in his bag will be aided by the Domi edition and switching that up a bit.
Yeah, it really should be. We've seen somewhat of a renaissance from Jamie Benn especially. He's had an incredible year than he has in years past. And Seguin, a little bit slower, but as you mentioned, I think Domi really helps him out because Seguin's not the type of guy that he was 8 years ago where he can create offense a little bit more by himself. He needs some help. If he can be where the puck is not all the time and Domi can feed him, I think it will help his numbers.